Hey, what's going on? What's happening? Good day to you all. Good evening, good morning, whatever time you might be listening to this. Just know this: I thank you ahead of time, and I'm grateful to have you along in this journey that we call the Basic Black Podcast. So, without any further ado, let's go into a little bit of a story. I must say that I'm lucky. I say that I'm lucky along a few lines. I have had the pleasure of meeting some pretty amazingly, no, amazingly is not really a good word, but pretty amazing, great people. Either through Facebook, LinkedIn, different social connections, social media, or whatnot. Definitely meet a good amount of people, which I think is so cool. What's amazing now is the amount of single, successful, educated, beautiful black women that I run across. And the amazing part is, and maybe it's not so amazing, but there's a tug of war going on. By that I say there is a group of black women who really feel that they want to be in a relationship with a black man. Can't, black love, no problem with that. But to them they feel like they're either holding out too long or they're just in a place to where they're frustrated. Now, I don't know what the numbers are, how many men to women, the ratios and whatnot. All I know is this. I'm married for the second time to my beautiful first responder, Julia. I love her dearly. That is my heart. That is my wife. That is my shero. She is a frontline worker, RN, and I'm so proud of all the things that she do. I got lucky. I just got out of it. I got out of divorce is finished. Was married previously for 20 years. So, in all honesty, I was pretty much so not thinking I was going to get married again. I pretty much so was along the line that is hey, you're divorced. You did it for 20 years, regardless of the outcome. Hey, it was a good run, or good enough. I'm not saying everything was perfect. As people, we are not perfect. Things happen and whatnot, and so it was life after marriage. So I'm back in the dating world, into the dating pool and whatnot, and it's pretty interesting. From the dating that I did do post divorce was really interesting. It's scary. And what I figured out, I'm not by far saying like I'm some super huge great catch, but from the people that I did date, I found it to be really interesting on how black women, because that's all I've dated, and I'm not even gonna say sorry. That's what I choose, and that's what I like. So if you are a African American male and you don't like black women, or okay, that's your thing. To each his own. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I kind of trend towards the lighter skinned ones, maybe because I'm so damn dark. That's probably the issue. But either way, that's another story for another day. So, anyway, so going through the dating world and whatnot, and being a father now a ex-husband and whatnot. Being a father, you've had to do a lot of things. So you cook, you clean, you take care of the things, you go out and make a living, and you work on the car, you take care of the house, you cut the grass, you do whatever painting, you hang TVs, whatever the hell you're supposed to do. Those are the things I did. Those are the things that I knew. I was this great, I guess the way it was explained to me, I was this just add water ready husband. Like if you were looking for somebody who you're going to fall in love with, and someone who's going to take care of all the things around the house, because truly the way I feel, And it's not echoed by a lot of black men these days. And I blame that not on the men, but unfortunately, women are having to raise young men. And let's be for real, as hard as a woman can try, as much effort as she can put into the process, a woman cannot raise a young boy into a man. But there will be times to where, there's that option's not there. There's some men that just choose to not be in their children's lives, excuse me. And there's some who just, for one reason or another, could pass away, let's be for real, incarcerated, could be a number of things, or just a sorry ass man who does not want to be there. So you have these women who are trying their best, and they are trying to raise this young boy into a successful man, raise him into a man that will have frontline respect for women. And you would hope that the push to be a gentleman and whatnot is also being, put in that pick list of attributes that we would hope that a young man would have. For me, it's interesting. I'm a father of two boys. One is 22, one is 17. And I can tell you from being their dad, their father, that for me, it was very much so a respect thing. It was very much so, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, sir, no, ma'am. And that was the way that my sons were raised. And when I took them places and whatnot, we had those conversations. And when we would go to the mall, way before COVID, and we would, go shopping, whatever. And, we're walking in somewhere and you happen to see a woman who's, a woman who's by herself. First of all, let me back up. I am a big believer in opening doors for women. I am not opening a damn door for a woman who has a guy with her. That's crazy. And if your man does not open a door for you, maybe you need to figure out some things you should open a little less to make him want to open doors a little bit more. There's nothing wrong with training a man. And when I say training, I'm not saying like, potty training or anything crazy. But, sometimes you have to reintroduce the thought. You have to say, hey, this is what I want. This is the treatment that I prefer, and I will not accept any less. And some men, young men, are going to have to hear that because they, in a sense, had the bar lowered for them. They've had women now who, I don't know, just are not when I was growing up, womanly, or I like the notion of the really feminine woman. I'm sorry if I'm old school. The Sunday church women that dress up real nice and present themselves really nice. The same things that you would expect a woman to say that she would hope to see in a man. That he's presentable, that he's well groomed, and he looks good, smells good, able to have great conversations, able to just be that partner, that almost that loving plus one that we all hope that our spouse would be. It's interesting. Now, I've kind of sidetracked really badly, so I'll go ahead and try to bring it back around. But from the individuals that I have met, from the people that I have crossed paths with and whatnot on Facebook, I know it can't just be me. I know it can't be. How in the hell do I know so many professional, amazing, just educated black women that cannot find a black man? And I know there's some that say, hey, you know what? I've been waiting. I'm now getting into my early 30s. I'm now getting into my middle 30s, soon to be 40, and I'm not married. And what should I do? So maybe I might need to think about just going ahead and jumping over the fence. go ahead and just say, hey, maybe you should go expand your reach. Look for a white gentleman, or look for a Latino male, or whatever, African gentleman, whatever it might be. And I don't blame black women for that. I don't, because the amount of really good men, to me, is a low number, because the quality is not there. The home training by a male in the household, or not even in the household, a role model, is not as present as it used to be. It's definitely a hard hustle now, because there are, with COVID, hell, everything's hard. Everything's hard to a sense. So what we have to do now is have to figure out a way, how do we continue to do mentoring? And when I say mentoring, I say capital MEN, then lowercase Turing, TORING. Because right now, I think like Tupac said, the real men need to stand up, because there's too many young men that need that push. They need somebody, regardless if they're uncle or dad or grandfather or brother or whatever, needs to be there, because these young men need to learn the foundations. They need to learn how to tie a tie. They need to know that when they take a young lady out to dinner, how to adjust her chair, to make sure that she's comfortable, to make sure that, to be, in a sense, the total man, the total guy, that you are as much into your date or your partner as you would be into anything else that you're interested in. For me, I sit back, and one of my favorite music artists is Lyfe Jennings. And he talks about, sometimes we need to study a woman like it's college. Treat her like she's a college course. Sit there and put in that work, that extra effort to get to know her, to not even just the intimate part about it, but get to know her as a woman, as a person, as somebody you are investing your time in hopes of this might be the person that you would want to spend your life with. That could be Mrs. Right. I got my Mrs. Right, but I actually made her change her last name to Jackson, but it's WRIGHT. But anyway, the thing about it is we have to get our young men together. And I think it really sucks, because in COVID, we're not able to really do that mentoring one-on-one as people would prefer. With that, I like to send a thanks to my brothers of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, especially it's OYLA, which is Omega Youth Leadership Academy, and under the direction of Larry Ross and his staff and his team of just brothers who are putting in work, not just for their community, but for the greater community. They're making sure that these young men not just have an opportunity for good education, not just have an opportunity to move on to bigger and better things. They're acting as the blueprint, the role model for these young men who don't have a male influencer in the household. And definitely my hat's off, shouts out to the women who understand this, and they entrust their sons with my brothers of Omega Psi Phi and Omega Youth Leadership Academy. And I've seen some pretty amazing things. My oldest son, Reginald, my junior, he was in Omega Youth Leadership Academy for a couple years, and had the opportunity to travel to Southern California for the college summits and whatnot. Just, all this pre-COVID, but it helped show him more of the world. It helped show him, that go out and travel, go see things, because the last thing we want is someone to get older and act like he doesn't know how to get the hell out of the house, or wants to go to school local or whatever. But I'm grateful and I'm thankful for those men who have put in the work to make sure that we're reaching out to these young men that need a male influence. Okay? So with that, you go back to dating. I sit back, and I'm not going to say any last names, but good friend of mine, her name is Amber. I love this chick dearly. She is amazing. Amber is everything that a guy should be looking for. She amazing personality, beautiful woman, educated, just well spoken, and just a wonderful woman. And okay, she's also a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So if anybody's playing the Greek game, you can say one Delta. Okay. But the thing about it is, I know when I sit back and I kind of follow her page and her girlfriends and whatnot and other folks and whatnot, they're really struggling to find a good man. I know there might be a little bit of a shortage, but there shouldn't be a blackout. I don't think there should be. I think right now, obviously COVID, you're not going to be able to date the way that you would want to, like we would normally, excuse me, I'm not even gonna say dating. I'm old school. I'm gonna say the courting process, because we court a woman. We basically not only try to entice her, we try to show her like it's an audition, like it's an interview, that we're showing you this is the best we can offer, plus a little bit more. And I feel like you need a little bit of this in your life. That's the courting process. Young men, most men, even older men right now, don't do that. The gentleman factor is definitely missing, and what scares me wholeheartedly now is looking past COVID, when we start to kind of jump back into societal norms and dating and just reaching out to our friends and being able to safely get a hug, shake a hand, fist bump, a little dap, whatever. Everybody's looking for love. I don't mean like, marriage or relationship. Everybody's looking for love. There's nothing wrong when you can say, I love this person, and it doesn't have to be a romantic love, because love is very much so a very big word. But what shocks me now is, coming out of COVID, I even feel that, this is my prediction, that dating is going to be worse. Yes, I said it. Let me say it one more time. Coming out of COVID, dating will be worse. And the reason why I say that, we now have people who have been sitting inside their homes for over a year. They haven't had if they were being safe, because there's some reckless folks, y'all just go out partying and act like COVID don't exist, and y'all folks in Atlanta, y'all folks in Houston have lost your damn minds, in other areas. I see these crazy Divine Nine weddings and all this other mess, but I digress. For the ones that were being safe, for the ones that were that want to get back out there, I feel like what's going to end up happening is it's going to be worse, because you now have a bunch of men and women who are acting like they have been in-house suspension. Back in the South, we call that retrack, where they would make you go into in-house suspension versus just telling you to go home. But anyway, we're going to act like those kids when the school bell rings and it's time to go home. You haven't really seen anybody, so you can tell them, because they're always overly eager. They're just bouncing off the wall because they haven't had attention. I see a lot of game playing happening. I see, and on both sides. I'm not going to just blame the guys. I see a lot of game playing happening, and I do see that there's going to be some chicks. There's going to be some women who is going to let their freak flag fly. Nothing wrong with that. And they're going to want to enjoy themselves safely, I hope. And they're going to want to make, hey, they want to be chased for a while and just choose not to be chosen, but are willing to entertain a worthwhile audience, to say the least. So I think I'm putting it out there, I think coming out of COVID, post-COVID, I think the next thing that they're going to have to worry about is going to be STDs, STIs, sexually transmitted diseases, sexually transmitted infection, because people are going to be going buck wild. They sat up in his house, listened to Meg the Stallion. They've had their doses of WAP. They've had their, oh my God, that stupid hideous song Throat Babies or some bullshit, that whatever. Anyway, just they had all this, that, and other, and they just want to go and they're going to just lay it all out there. So I don't know what's going to be the way that we can sit back and we can say, hey, this is a really positive way for people that really want to meet somebody who's looking for a good long-term relationship and not just looking for casual dating. Because folks are going to be vacationing, folks are going to be going out because they haven't, folks are going to be trying to live their best life. For the birthdays they missed, they're going to try to go make them up. There's going to be people heading out to the cigar bars, there's going to be people hanging out to clubs and whatever and whatnot. It's just going to happen in droves, and everybody's going to be overstimulated. Everybody's just going to be just energetic and charged and wanting to live life in a big way that, people are going to let it hang out and do whatever. So I guess really coming around to it, it's where are the real men at? And when I say that along the lines as in, I would like to start doing profiles on true single men, not that you're in a relationship, possibly, not that you live with your baby mama, but you two aren't in a relationship. Men who are truly single. Men who, out on their own, have their own. I mean, hell, that, nothing's saying that just because you're single and you have kids, that doesn't disqualify things. But for some people, it might make it a little bit more difficult. Neither here nor there. But, people that are truly single and truly looking for somebody, it's almost like it's going to take a noircupid.com, Black Cupid. Anyway, I don't know if that's a website. If it isn't, trademark the name. Anyway, but it's going to be something to where that there might have to be a middleman, a middle person that's going to have to start doing that for folks. It's going to start saying, hey, we have responsible grown folks speed dating. Or speed something. I'm amazed with the shortage of good black men. And I think we need to address that even when they're younger. We need to basically make sure that they are properly mentored. And if there's a woman out there who has a son and their father for some reason is not there, look out for the options of what is available for help. I know that like I said, you can always reach out to the Mega Youth Leadership Academy. I think some of the other fraternities in Divine Nine have organization. I think they have like I think the Kappa League. If I'm saying it wrong, please forgive me. I think they have some things with their young men. I know we have the Lamplighters. There's a bunch of programs out there, and even with COVID, they're able to meet remotely through Zoom and other avenues. We're going to have to start cultivating our resource. Yes. We're going to have to start looking at these young men and making sure that they're going to be prepared to be desirable, well-situated young men who are out in the world looking for their Mrs. Right. I think that's going to have to be a change. What does that do for the women now? It doesn't. I think right now some of the best things might be the hookup. By the hookup, I'm saying that, hey, friend A saying, hey, I know somebody. This person is a cool guy, cool girl. I think you two will hit it off. Boom, you should meet. I'm actually happy about that because that's what happened with me. I got invited to a party by my fraternity brother, and I guess he worked at the same hospital that my now wife worked at, and so they were having a party. He invited us both over, and I know when I got there, he told me like, hey, I know somebody. She's a really cool girl. Yada yada yada. Can you make sure that, she's going to be coming over soon? Can you make sure she has a parking space? I'm like, okay, cool. Parking was kind of slim. So I did find a parking space. I went ahead and I stood in the parking space so nobody would take the space. And so I sat there and I just waited and waited and waited. And finally, Julia showed up. And then the funny part was, I went, being the gentleman, she was still in her car. I reached my hand down, I opened her door, and lo and behold, was the most beautiful woman I've seen. Was a really amazing woman that I was truly blessed to call my own. So, it was amazing. So we went to the party, we hung out. It was crazy. It was like when you sit back and you say it's one of those dreams. Like it was just us. It was just us, and we end up just like no, everybody else kind of was a blur. It was just a good time and whatnot. It was all of that. It was cool. It's like everybody truly was a blur. We spent the evening talking to each other, and my fraternity brother's friend whose house that this party was over. He made by far the ugliest looking spice cake that I've ever seen in my life. This cake, I don't know if it fell twice and it was frosted while it was still hot or whatever. So the cake was hideous. But the damn thing tasted amazing. It was great. And so, I got convinced into having a piece, and then Julia came through, and I was like, showing her hey, we got this and this and this. We're cooking this and that, like it was my place, and it wasn't. But, I said, hey, you got to try this cake. And she looked at it like, what the hell is this ugly thing? And I said, you got to try it. Just try it. And so she does. And so we're sitting there, we're talking, getting to know each other. And the funny part about it is it's March 1st, 2019. So actually, what is that? It's 2 years and 2 days ago. So we're sitting there and, I'm talking to her. She's in her blue Canada hoodie, and just sitting there because just got off work, but still looking just cute as all get out. Beautiful smile, wonderful person. Just I was amazed. I was like, I was putting on the best me that I could, and I laughed about it because I'm like, this woman ain't gonna give me no shot. She ain't gonna talk to me. Whatever. She's too cute. I can't. So let me sit up here and I'll tell a couple jokes and I'll try to be charming and I'll do this, that, and other, and so forth and so on. And so we did. We spoke for the night and just kind of hung out, and I sang a couple songs with some folks and some libations and whatever. It was a cool evening. And I was blessed to find what I call my forever because of a hookup. So I kind of feel like the blind dating trip might not be as good as we would hope it would be. But I'm not saying it's not. But I know coming out of post-COVID, it's going to be a trip. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be interesting. But all I say is this. Ladies, do not be afraid to state your needs. When it comes to a man, black, white, green, purple, yellow, red, whatever, you have to figure out your non-negotiables. And you have to figure out, what level of concern, love, and care that you're looking for. I think a man opening the door should be first and foremost. If he don't open the door, let him go. And my wife will tell you, I get pretty damn mad when I see a woman opening the door for a guy. That is wrong as hell. I think that, on top of being a gentleman, you got to sit back and women, I'm not saying you have to beat them over their heads. Please don't. But you have to be willing to say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, and not just assume that it's going to happen, because unsaid assumptions are wishes that do not come true. Unsaid assumptions are wishes that do not come true. Let's be for real. So instead of you getting into a relationship with a man and you find out that this guy he's a great guy, but he has this problem, he has that problem, this, that, and other. And then you feel like, I need to retrain him. To a great extent, you're not going to retrain anybody. But you can make sure that person knows what you're looking for. So really train yourself to say, hey, this is what I expect. I will not accept less. I will not undercut my happiness for somebody else to make them happy. So what I'm asking, because I've been rambling, I've never went 30 minutes just rambling. I'm going to ask that maybe some ladies send me in some ideas and thoughts about what troubles and what struggles are you having with dating, either pre and looking forward to post COVID. What's been the difficulties, pre-COVID that you were experiencing with dating? Were men not serious enough for your age, or you felt like they weren't in the same headspace? I know that men they run about a couple years behind in maturity versus the way women act, and I understand that. But what is it? I really want to explore this topic some more. I'm just kind of putting things out there. But I will say this in ending this segment. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I greatly appreciate it. This has been the Basic Black Podcast, and my name is Reginald, and I need you to have a great day. Goodbye.